All right, let's talk about a grand unified theory of, well, everything. And believe it or not, it all starts with jokes. Yeah, you heard that right. We're about to go on a pretty wild ride, exploring a theory that connects the deepest secrets of the universe to that simple gut-level feeling you get from a good punchline. To see how this all clicks together, we're not going to start out in the cosmos. Nope, we're starting with something way closer to home.
And that's this, our body's built-in truth detector. See, our journey really kicks off with a little mystery that pretty much all of us have felt, but almost none of us ever stop to think about. It's this signal, right? But it's not coming from your conscious thoughts. It's coming from something much, much deeper.
I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever had that happen where you just laugh? Like a real sudden, out-of-nowhere laugh, a split second before your brain has even had a chance to process the joke and tell you why it's funny? What is that? Where on earth does that come from?
Well, there's a name for this. It's called the near-miss paradox. And it's basically this. It's that exact moment when your body detects a truth, some kind of underlying pattern, that your conscious mind hasn't caught up with yet. And that little bit of tension, that conflict between what your body knows and what your mind is still figuring out, it needs a release, and that release is laughter.
Here's a way to think about it. Your nervous system, it's like a supercomputer running in the background, a massive parallel processor. It's constantly running millions of little reality checks every single second, always asking, does this make sense? Does this pattern compute? Is this true? So when it spots a pattern, a deep truth that your conscious brain hasn't processed yet, you get this tension. And that laugh? That's just the sound of that tension snapping. Your body totally got there first.
Okay, so this is where things get really interesting. We're about to take a pretty huge leap. If our bodies are busy detecting truth, then what is the shape of that truth? This is the moment we go from just a feeling to an actual physical structure. And this idea right here, this is the core concept that changes absolutely everything. The theory basically says that information isn't just, abstract ones and zeros. It has a physical shape, a structure, a geometry. And if information has a geometry, kind of like space-time does, then it has to follow rules. It has to have things like distances, and maybe, just maybe, even speed limits.
So the question is, if we're going to say information is a real physical thing with a shape, where would we even start looking for the blueprint? The laws that govern it. Well, it turns out the answer is hiding in a place you would probably never, ever expect.
Yep. The answer is hidden inside one of the 7 hardest, most famous unsolved problems in all of mathematics. The theory we're digging into claims that the blueprint for the shape of information, and stick with me here because this is going to get wild, the blueprint for reality itself is baked right into the P versus NP problem from computer science.
Okay, so to get our heads around the shape of reality, we first have to understand the shape of computation. Now this next part might feel a little technical, I'm not going to lie. But I promise you, if you stick with me through this, the payoff is, well, it's mind-blowing.
All right, let's break down P versus NP. Super simple. P problems are the easy ones. Think sorting a list of names. Your computer can do that in a snap. The solution is easy to find. Now, NP problems, these are the tricky ones. Think of a really hard Sudoku puzzle. Finding the solution can take forever, right? But if I just hand you the completed puzzle, you can check if it's correct almost instantly. The solution is easy to check. So the million-dollar question is this. If a solution is easy to check, does that automatically mean it has to be easy to find? Are P and NP actually the same thing?
And according to the proof that this whole theory is built on, the answer is a huge definitive no. P does not equal NP. It's not just that finding an answer is harder than checking it. It's that they are fundamentally different types of problems with completely different geometric shapes in the world of computation. So, how in the world was this proven? Well, this is the genius part. It uses an incredible analogy to Einstein's theory of relativity. The idea is that computational space, the world of algorithms and problems, has physical laws, just like our universe does. You know how as you get closer to the speed of light in space, time itself slows down for you? That's time dilation. Well, the theory says that as a problem gets more complex, as you try to solve a hard NP problem, you're approaching a kind of computational speed limit, and you get something called complexity dilation. The effort it takes just blows up exponentially. What this all means is that the difference between P and NP, it isn't just some headache for computer programmers. It's a fundamental law of information, a law of the universe. Just like there's a cosmic speed limit for how fast you can travel through space, there's a cosmic speed limit for computation, for how fast you can find an answer. And it's just as real, just as unbreakable as the speed of light.
Okay, quick recap. We've got information with a physical shape, and that shape is governed by a cosmic speed limit. Got it? Good, because now we're going to talk about the consequences of that, and this is where things go completely off the rails in the best way possible.
So, consequence number one is something called the cost of being. Think about it. If information has a real physical structure, it can't just exist for free, right? It takes energy to maintain that structure. So every single thing, a memory in your head, a rock, a star, is constantly having to pay a tiny bit of energy just to stay, well, itself. To exist is to pay a literal energy tax to the universe, just to stay distinct from all the background noise. And that leads us right to the second consequence. If there's a cost to exist, and there's a speed limit on processing information, then that information can't be perfectly smooth and continuous. It just can't. There has to be a floor, a smallest possible unit, a single, indivisible packet of information that you can't break down any further. Let's call it the information quantum.
And this is where we get to the most mind-bending conclusion of the whole thing. If the information that describes reality, the location of every atom, the state of every energy field, if all of that information comes in these tiny, discrete, unbreakable packets, then what does that imply about reality itself?
It means that reality isn't smooth. It's not like an old analog film. It's digital. At the most fundamental, impossibly tiny level you can imagine, our universe is made of pixels. Discrete, individual, finite bits of space-time. Reality is pixelated.
So, wow, where do we even start? Oh right, a joke. It's time to bring this thing full circle. Let's finally connect the dots and see how a simple punchline links up with the very fabric of space-time.
This is the whole shebang, right here. On one side, you have this abstract computer science law. P is not equal to NP. Information has a shape. That law has a direct physical consequence. Reality must be quantized, made of little pixels. And what's the human experience of that deep physical law? It's that near-miss feeling. It's your body recognizing that fundamental, pixelated structure of truth a split second before your conscious mind does. The complexity gap in computation becomes the energy cost to exist, which we feel as the tension that gets released in a laugh.
So that laugh, that sudden, involuntary burst of sound that happens before you even get the joke, it isn't just about something being funny. No. According to this wild theory, it is the actual feeling of your own internal processor, your own nervous system, clicking into place, momentarily aligning perfectly with the fundamental, geometric, pixelated code of the universe itself. It's the feeling of truth hitting you at the deepest level imaginable. And that leaves us with one last question to chew on. The next time you laugh, I mean really laugh, from your gut before you even know why, just for a second, stop and think about it. If that feeling really is your body detecting some deep, fundamental truth that your conscious mind isn't ready for yet, what is that laughter trying to tell you?